भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो 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 भगवते वासुदेवाय।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन।
यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी।
कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन।
यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी।
कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद श्री राधे।
जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद श्री राधे।
जय नित्य सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि। जय नित्य सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि।
जय नित्य सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि। जय नित्य सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि।
जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा
जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा।
हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
नित्य गौर हरि बोल। हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल।
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिजकाचार्य श्रोत्र शतश्री श्रीमद केशवन श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
जय।
नमोचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की
जय।
प्रेम से गौ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की
जय।
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड की
जय।
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपिनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna, Hare
All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna,
All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Govinda. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschata Dishatarine. Sarvam Shri Krishna Pranamastu Krishna Materastu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So today we are going to read from Bhagavad-Gita chapter 11, Vishwarup Darshan Yoga, the universal form, texts 9 to 13. And actually today is the auspicious occasion of Vijayadashami as well. So in that sense, there is a certain relationship coincidentally we have between the verses that we are going to discuss today and the actual auspicious day that is today. And we'll try and understand that when we discuss these verses. So the first verse, Sanjaya Uvacha,
Sanjaya Uvacha.
Evam Muktva Tato Rajan,
Evam Muktva Tato Rajan.
Mahayogeshwaro Harihi,
Mahayogeshwaro Harihi.
Darshayam Asaparthaya,
Darshayam Asaparthaya.
Paramam Rupam Aishwaram.
Paramam Rupam Aishwaram.
So what the word Sanjaya Uvacha?
Sanjaya Uvacha.
Sanjaya said,
Sanjaya said,
Evam,
Evam,
thus,
thus,
Uktva,
Uktva,
saying, Tataha,
Tataha,
thereafter,
Rajan,
Rajan, O king,
O king,
Mahayoga
Mahayogeshwara.
the most powerful mystic,
the most powerful mystic,
Harihi,
Harihi,
the supreme personality of Godhead,
the supreme personality of Godhead,
Krishna,
Krishna,
Darshayam Asa,
Darshayam Asa,
showed, Parthaya,
Parthaya,
onto Arjuna,
onto Arjuna,
Paramam, the divine,
the divine,
Rupam, Aishwaram,
Rupam Ishwaram,
universal form.
universal form.
Translation, Sanjaya said,
Sanjaya said,
O king,
O king,
having spoken thus,
having spoken thus,
the Supreme Lord
the Supreme Lord
of all mystic power,
of all mystic power,
the personality of Godhead,
the personality of Godhead,
displayed
displayed
his universal form
his universal form
to Arjuna.
to Arjuna.
So, here Sanjaya is speaking. So, if you look at the previous 8 verses that we discussed from the last sessions that we had, Arjuna was kind of speaking those verses. In those verses, Arjuna was trying to understand, because in the previous chapter, the chapter 10, was Vibhuti Vistar Yoga. So Krishna was describing about his opulence. So when Arjuna heard about the opulence of Krishna, then he said that now my moha has started getting destroyed. The attachment has started to get removed now, because I understand that everything is coming under your mystic opulence. There is nothing that exists outside the mystic opulence of the Lord. And in that regard, it's really interesting that the actual Krishna showing his Vishwarup Darshan is coming on the Vijayadashami. So what is the relationship there? As we know, Vijayadashami is coming directly after the 9 nights, Navaratri, right? The 9 nights that are related to Durga Devi. And then the 10th, which is today, is the day when Sri Ram had the victory over Arjuna, over Ravana, right? And Ravana, the name Ravana is really interesting to understand. Rava means one who is shouting quite a lot. And Na means one who actually does it. Just like Shravana, we Shru plus Na. Okay, so that means the act of hearing is called Shravana. So similarly, Ravana was, in anger he was shouting. So that's why his name is called as Ravana. And he has actually composed this Shiva Tandava Stotra. So he is actually, in a sense, he is a very learned person as well, because he is son of Vishrava. Vishrava Muni is the son of Pulastya, and Pulastya is the mind-born son of Brahma. So in that sense, if you look at his lineage from his father, he's coming from a very saintly lineage, and his mother is Kaikasi, and she is coming from the lineage of Rakshasas. So that is a combination of Ravana, right? He has got this wonderful Shiva Bhakti, he has composed Shiva Tandava Sutra, but unfortunately at the same time he has got those demoniac inclinations. And this, generally we say Dasera, in Hindi you say like that, but that also has got a meaning, like Dasha Hara. That's what it is actually. If you look at actual Sanskrit word, it's Dashahara. Dasha means, Ravan is also called Dashanan, right? He's considered to have 10 heads, Dashanan. So, one Hara means one who has been, destroyed. So one of the words Hari, the meaning of Hari, Krishna's one of the meanings is Hari, right? And Hari is mentioned. Hari is also mentioned in this particular verse. Maha Yogeshwaro Hari. Hari also means one who takes away. So one of the things about Krishna is that if one has surrendered unto Krishna, he takes away all our miseries. We will be never miserable if we have surrendered to Krishna. How we won't be miserable? Because we will always be established in that eternal relationship with Krishna. And that eternal relationship is not based on this temporary body. Because whenever I am, the whole challenge with our existence in this conditioned material world is that every moment, the only thought that comes is that this is the only existence. The bodily existence is the only existence. There is never a point in time when one actually thinks that consciousness also exists. And consciousness is something that is giving that power, the life to the body. If the consciousness does not exist, the body does not have any life, it is dead. So this is what is Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhumte Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Guna Sangasyat Sadasad Janma Yonishu. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad-Gita, the Purusha and Prakriti are always together in that sense. Just like Lakshmi Narayan, Parvati and Shiva, right? Saraswati and Brahma. So exactly the same way, the consciousness that we have, that element of us which makes us alive, that is Purusha. And the body that we have, and the gross body that we have, and the subtle body that we have. The subtle body is mind, intelligence and false ego, man, buddhi, ahankar. That is Prakriti. So Prakriti and Purusha are together here, and that's why we are existing in this material world. A combination of Prakriti and Purusha. So that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhumte Prakriti Chan Guna. So the Purusha, that is the consciousness, which is connected with the body through the ego, through the element of ego, that is what is allowing us to experience everything in this material world. If the consciousness is not there, we cannot experience anything. The body is dead. So this is a really interesting thing to understand. So if we go into a consciousness, and if we understand that it is because of my consciousness that I am able to perceive everything in this whole world, and similarly, because others have consciousness, they are able to perceive me. So the prime element in the whole universe is consciousness in that sense. So that is understanding. So the Dashahara means, the Dasha also indicates the 10 different negative qualities that unfortunately exist when we are in a conditioned state of existence. So it is called Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya. So those are 6. Then Mana, Buddhi, Chitta and Ahankara. The Mana, Buddhi, Chitta and Ahankara is the mind, intelligence, the whole storage of all our experiences, which is a subconscious mind. So there is a conscious mind and there is a subconscious mind, right? So Chitta is the subconscious mind. So you got the mind, the intelligence, the subconscious mind and the false ego, right? So these 4 things, they are like water, right? If you want to look at it, the water, if it is pure, there is no problem, right? We can drink it. But if the water is impure, we are not able to drink it. So the water is the same thing. But depending on whether it is pure or impure, the way we use it is different, right? So exactly the same way, the mind, intelligence, the subconscious mind and the false ego, when they come under the influence of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya. Kama is that passion towards material enjoyment, not understanding that I am actually consciousness. So that is Kama. So when there is too much passion for material enjoyment, if I don't get that material enjoyment, what will happen? I'll have Krodha. I'll become angry. Because I'm so much after that sense enjoyment. If I don't get that sense enjoyment, I'll become angry. And so Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Lobha is greed. So this is the unfortunate situation in this material world. Whatever a person has, they are never satisfied with it. They want more, and there is no upper limit. There is no ceiling to the upper limit. Exactly the same way, there is no ceiling to the upper limit for our blissful nature. So if we go into our blissful nature, if we look into our association with the Lord, there is no upper limit to that as well. So the question that we have is, what upper limit, what is a thing which has no upper limit that we want to choose? Do we want to choose an upper limit of material enjoyment, which has no limit? That means we'll continuously take birth after birth. Because the only thing that I'm thinking about is my body and how to satisfy my body. I'm not thinking, it is like, one of the examples that is given is like a bird inside a cage. There is a bird inside a cage. If you are keeping the cage very nicely, cage can be a golden cage. But if the bird is not given any food, what is going to happen? No, there is no use, right? Exactly the same thing is happening in our existence. So basically what is happening is, we are satisfying our subtle body and material body to unlimited extent. We are trying to do that. But we are not nourishing our consciousness. The consciousness is like that bird within the cage, right? So if we are not giving the food to the consciousness, what is the food for the consciousness? It is when the focus of the mind goes back into the consciousness. That is the food. So there is antarmukha and bahirmukha. Antarmukha means when I try to know who am I. Like I am never born and I will never die. That is antarmukha. Bahirmukha is immediately the only thing that I think about is my body and how to enjoy my body. That is bahirmukha. So this is what is that, like Kama, Krodha, Lobha, greed, unlimited greed, Moha, attachment. Where is attachment coming from? Because I think I am this body. So when I think I am this body has got lots of attachment. Immediately I'll get attached to lots and lots of things, and then I'll think that this is the only purpose in life. But the real purpose in life is, if we can go inside us and understand our eternal relationship with Krishna. That Jivera Swarupaya Krishnera Nityadas. It is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The actual form of the living entity is that they are eternally related to Krishna. So somehow or other, if we can do that, then that is the goal of human form of life. That is the real purpose of human form of life. So, right? So Moha is that. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya. Mada is like intoxication. What is this intoxication? It is basically, again, it is coming from the platform of false ego. So when I think that I am this particular body, I am intoxicated by my whatever small prowess I have, whatever small qualities I have, you're really intoxicated by it. And then the last one is called Matsarya. Matsarya is jealousy. So therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, Paramo Nirmatsaraha. So this Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and all is for the category of people who are supremely non-envious. So they have no trace of envy within them. Why they do not have trace of envy in them? Because whenever they see anything grand, they will see this is just a spark of Krishna's splendor. They will actually remember Krishna by that means, But what does a person who is conditioned, they do? Like unfortunately, someone who is like a Ravana conditioned. They are always trying to become the supreme. That was what Ravana was trying to do. Right? Kubera was his brother in that sense, and he snatched the Pushpak Viman from Kubera. The Pushpak Viman that he travels in the sky, and in the end actually it is through the Pushpak Viman that Sri Ram, Lakshman, Sita and Hanuman and all go back to Ayodhya from Lanka.
That time how it works?
It's through so basically this is the interesting thing, I think earlier people had that mental prowess to control things. This is
Magic.
It's like yogic powers, like the Ashta Siddhi, what they say, right? Anima, Lagima, Mahima, Prapti, Prakamya, Ishitva, Vishitva. So there are 8 kinds of siddhis, Ashta Siddhi. So when one goes, see the important, when one meditates, very strongly when one meditates, at a certain point in time of that meditation, one starts getting these powers, which is like supernatural powers. And these supernatural powers actually are a hindrance to liberation. Because what would happen is, when people start getting those supernatural powers, they start thinking that I am very powerful now. And then, because of the nature of this material world, they might use it in a way that is not conducive, not proper way.
Yeah.
That is why Hanumanji is considered, the great devotee. Why? Because he had all those powers, but he never used those powers for himself. He was always using that in service of Sri Ram.
Yes.
The only purpose that he had in life was that I have to serve Sri Ram in whatever possible way. Every moment of my life should be dedicated to serving Sri Ram. So that is the wonderful nature of a devotee. And take the just opposite example for example, Ravan. So unfortunately, under the influence of arrogance, he kidnapped Sita Devi. Such a grave sin it is. It is the most unfortunate thing that he did. So this is the difference, right? So here, the interesting thing that the Vishwarup Darshan Yoga is starting on Vijayadashami is that here, if you look at what Sanjay is saying here, Evam Uttva Tato Rajan. So basically Sanjay is saying to Dhritarashtra here. Basically this is what is happening, right? Sanjay and Dhritarashtra cannot see. Sanjay has been given the divine vision to see what is happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Sanjay is saying to Dhritarashtra that Arjuna said this, and then Maha Yogeshwaro Hari. So Hari, Krishna, and we actually try to understand what Hari means as well. Hari means one who takes away. So Yasya Ham Anugrahanami Harishye Tad Dhanam Shane Tato Dukkha Dukkhitam. There is a particular verse in Srimad Bhagavatam where Krishna says that if I show some special mercy to someone, I take away their opulence. So then what happens is they do not have. See, generally what happens in this material world is people are attracted to us because we have something, right? So say for example, I am very famous, then lots of people will get attracted to me. But if I lose all the fame due to some reason, like someone gives some bad name to me and I lose all the fame, no one will be coming to me, right? So this whole material world is based on what a person is possessing. The whole attraction is based on whether someone is famous, someone is rich. That is why Bhagwan's condition is Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashashriya Jnana Vairagya. So Bhagwan, the definition of Bhagwan is that one who possesses unlimitedly Aishwarya. Aishwarya means riches. Aishwarya is samagrasya. There is no. So basically, whatever so-called, we can talk about all the billionaires in this world, top 10 billionaires. They are all thinking that I am the billionaire, right? But actually, the Lord is in possession of everything. Like no one can. It is due to false ego that I think that I am the possessor. Actual possessor is the Lord. How do we know actual possessor is the Lord? What will happen when they die? What is going to happen to their money? No one knows, right? Like there could be a lot of fights between the relatives for inheritance and all those things. But at the end of the day, the real ownership. How is the real ownership of the Lord? Because everything is coming from the Lord. Aham sarvasya prabho mata sarvam pravakre. So in this sense, the important thing here to understand is that all this, what Sanjay is saying here. Yeah, I was talking about Hari, right? I was talking about the Lord taking away everything. So what that means is, generally in this material world, if someone is having lots of money, lots of nice relatives, lots of good friends, and everything is settled nicely, one is considering that I am successful and everything is fine. But after having all that, if the mind is not satisfied, there is no use of that, right? And you could see someone who has nothing, who is probably meditating in some remote place, but they will be totally satisfied. So if you look at the two, so the satisfaction is actually coming from inside, but unfortunately no one realizes it. We always think that the outside thing, the next thing I will achieve will give me satisfaction, but that never happens. Because once I achieve that thing, I want something else. Then I want something else. There is no end to it. And so that interesting verse in Srimad Bhagavatam is, if I show someone special mercy, I take away everything from them. That's what Krishna says. That's why some people might become afraid of, coming to Krishna, because there is a very beautiful verse that Srila Rupa Goswami has given. Ma prekshishta tavayadi sakhe bandhu sangesti ranga. Ma prekshishta means don't look at this person. Don't look at this person if your ranga means attached. If you are attached to ma prekshishta tavayadi, if you are attached to sakhe bandhu sangesti. If you are attached to your relatives, if you are attached to your family, if you are attached to your friends, don't look at this person. Why? Because all those attachments will be taken away.
To a festival, I left my husband, I came. He is since morning waiting, we will do puja together.
The whole basis of our material existence is based on these attachments, right? When I take birth, immediately, the attachment is towards my parents. And then I grow up, and if I have a family, there is attachment to my partner. Then after family, if I have children, attachment to my children. The whole basis of our material existence is bodily and whatever is related to my body. Aham mameti. But when we engage in these discussions, we understand a dimension which is not visible in normal circumstances. Because in normal circumstances, the only thing visible is that I am this body and all these are bodies, and this body is attached to that body and that body is attached to this body. It's all body. But no one thinks about what is the thing that is animating this body. What is the thing that is making this body alive? No one talks. But this is the special mercy of Bhagavad-Gita, that somehow or other we get to the dimension of understanding which is not visible in the material world. It is the spiritual world where it is visible. So that is what the Hari word has got a very important meaning there. Darshayam asa parthaya paramam rupam aishwaram. So basically, Sanjay is saying that Partha, who is Arjuna, he is getting the darshan. What is the darshan? Paramam rupam aishwaram. Paramam is supreme, rupam is form, aishwaram is that opulent form. So again, if you look at this particular day, we are, if you look at the 9 days preceding these days, there are these wonderful forms of Durga Devi that are being worshipped, starting from Shailputri to Siddhidatri. There are different forms. All those are wonderful forms, and all those are Devi Yesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, he uses the word Mama Maya. So Durga Devi, he says, is my Durga Devi. Mama Maya. Maya is Durga Devi. So this is a special relationship between Krishna and Durga Devi. So like even if you look at it from the perspective of Krishna Krishna's appearance, Durga Devi is born as a daughter of Nanda and Yashoda. Krishna is born as a son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And then Vasudeva takes Krishna to the place where Devi is there, and they are exchanged. Krishna comes here, Devi comes to the prison, and then Kamsa tries to kill, and then the Devi shows her form. Durga Devi shows her form, and she says that the person who is going to kill you is already there somewhere. So this is a special relationship between the Lord. If you look at it from the perspective of Sri Ram, after the 9 days, he is worshipping Durga Devi, and then on the 10th day, he is able to conquer Ravana. So that is the challenge that exists is, especially in the Vedic context, is that you've got these 3 different types of followers. There is a follower of Vaishnava, follower of Vishnu, and there are Shaivites, follower of Lord Shiva, and then there is Shakti, Shaktites if you want to call it, follower of Shakti, Durga Devi. So these are all the different followers, and unfortunately, if someone wants to create friction, they can create friction by saying that this is supreme, and then I won't allow you to follow the other. If someone wants to do that, they can do that. But the best way of understanding this is that there is an intricate relationship that exists between these wonderful divine entities, and these relationships are very pure spiritual relationships, and that is how one can understand this. So this is it's really interesting, the Vishwarup Darshan and then the Dashahara that is happening today. Okay, so then we go to the text 10 and 11. Anekavaktrannayanam, Anekadbhuta darshanam, Anekadivyabharanam, Divyaneko Dyatayudham, Divyamalyambaradharam, Divyagandhanulepanam, Sarvashcharyamayam Devam, Anantam Vishwatomukham. It's a word about Aneka, various, Vaktra, mouth, Nayanam, eyes, Aneka, various, Adbhuta, wonderful, Darshanam, sights, Aneka, many, Divya, divine, Abharanam, ornaments, Divya, divine, Aneka, various, Udyata, uplifted, Ayudham, weapons, Divya, divine, Malya, garlands, Ambara, dresses, Dharam, wearing, Divya, divine, Gandha, fragrances, Anulepanam, smeared with, Sarva, all, Ashcharyamayam, wonderful, Devam, shining, Anantam, unlimited, Vishwataha Mukham, all pervading. Translation. Arjuna saw
Arjuna saw
in that universal form
in that universal form
unlimited mouths,
unlimited mouths,
unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions.
unlimited wonderful visions.
The form was
The form was
decorated with
many
many celestial ornaments
celestial ornaments
and bore
and bore
many divine
many
upraised weapons.
upraised weapons.
He wore
He wore
celestial garlands
celestial garlands
and garments,
and garments,
and many divine
and many divine
scents
scents
were smeared over
were smeared over
his body.
his body.
All was
All was
wondrous,
wondrous,
brilliant,
brilliant,
unlimited,
unlimited,
all expanding.
all expanding.
So, it's kind of, I think, let's, if we kind of imagine this, that wondrous situation where Senayor Ubayor Madhye Ratham Sthapya Me Achyuta. So, Krishna says that, Arjuna says to Krishna, Achyuta, in the beginning, in chapter 1, in Bhagavad-Gita, Arjuna is saying to Krishna that, oh Achyuta, oh Krishna, bring the chariot between the two warring parties. So, the Pandavas are here, the Kauravas are here, and Arjuna says, bring it to the middle. Senayor Ubayor Madhye. At that place, Arjuna is trembling. He is not able to lift his Gandiva bow. And then he says that, what should I do, Krishna? I cannot fight. And then all this, Krishna is giving all these instructions. And then now, just imagine there, no one else is seeing this, right? So, it's like everything else is frozen at that time. And it's basically Arjuna looking. So this is Sanjay is telling, right? Sanjay and Dhritarashtra, they are there in their palace. And then this is happening in the Kurukshetra war. Sanjay is describing this, and if you can just imagine that situation, the two battlefields, two different forces are trying to fight. Here, there is in the middle, and here that wonderful universal form is being shown by Krishna. So it's just a wonderful state of existence. And one of the things that we can do here is, if we can try and imagine that scene, we can use our mind in the service of the Lord. So this is the important thing, Yena tena prakarena mana krishne niveshayet. What is mentioned in the scriptures is that some way or the other fix the mind on Krishna. So when we are hearing these descriptions, if we can get that somehow or other, if we can get that imagination, that will be really wonderful. So for example, here Aneka Vatra Nayana. So Vatra and Nayana. So Vatra is mouths and Nayanam is eyes. So this is a universal form, right? So it is basically showing the whole universe at once. And one of the places where this has happened before is when Krishna was a child and he was eating the dirt from the ground. And Mother Yashoda was scolding him, don't eat dirt. And then he did not listen, he still ate. And then she opened her mouth and she saw the whole universe within his mouth. And then she just got fainted. What is this? So this is what is Janma Karmam Cha Me Divyam. So this understanding that Krishna's Janma, birth, and Krishna's Karma, his activities are Divya, divine. This understanding, if someone knows this in truth, Evam Yoveti Tattvataha, what does it mean knowing in truth? Knowing in truth means through every pore of my existence, I am believing it. So it is based on strong belief. That is what is Tattvata. That means it's not that, like as some people say, mythology. It's a mythology, someone has just put it, and it is through this mythology I'm trying to understand things. That could be a perspective. But the real understanding is when we actually are situated that this is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even if we look at it from the perspective of this material existence, how can we understand the universal form of the Lord from where we are at this particular moment? We can understand it because everything is Lord's energy. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matstani sarvabhutani na chaham teshu avastita. Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita that everything is pervaded in this universe on the basis of me. So basically there is Parashakti and Aparashakti, the superior energy and the inferior energy. But whose energy it is? It is the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how do we understand the universal form from the perspective of where we are? We can understand it that all these wonderful manifestations that we see in the whole universe, it's indirectly part and parcel of the Lord because it is based on the energy of the Lord. So this whole universe, this is what is called Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Very beautiful verse in Sri Ishopanishad, which says that the Lord is full, Purnamadaha, and the whole universe is also full in itself. How do we know the universe is full in itself? It is self-sustaining, isn't it? Like the one. See how wonderful the creation is made. You got these plants who are giving out oxygen, and we are benefiting from it. We are giving carbon dioxide, the plants are benefiting from it. See the ecosystem, how it is established. Like it's self-sustaining. It is full in itself. So that is what is called Purna Madaha. The Lord is full in himself. Purna Midam. The whole universe is full in itself. Purna Purnamudachyate. Purna means from the complete is coming. The universe is coming from the Lord. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. If you take the complete from the complete, what is remaining is also complete. So this is the spiritual mathematics. The spiritual mathematics is 1 minus 1 is also equal to 1. And 1 plus 1 is also equal to 1. And that means the complete is always complete. You take something away, nothing is still taken away. And this is the nature of, Vidya Dadati Vinayam Vinayam Yati Patratam. Patratva dhanapnoti dharma tatah sukham. There is a particular Sanskrit verse which says that vidya, the knowledge, if you are actually giving the knowledge, it is increasing. If you keep the knowledge, it is just at one place. But if you give the knowledge continuously increases. How does it increase? The person hearing understands it, and the person saying would also get a different perspective when they actually verbalize things. It's kind of amazing that way. So this is the wonderful nature of the spiritual knowledge as well, and that is how we can understand this in the current context. How can we understand Aneka Vaktra Nayanam? All the forms that is seen in the whole universe. That is like the universal form of the Lord. All the eyes, all the Aneka Vaktra Nayanam, Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam. But this Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam is, so there are two perspectives to understanding this. So one perspective is Krishna himself showing that universal form to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. That is Divya. But then we understanding everything as a part and parcel of Krishna. That also makes it Divya. See, when I look at it, everything from the perspective of this person is one body, that person is another body, that person is another body, it is like a material. I'm seeing everyone as a material person. But if I think from the perspective that because I have consciousness, I have life, and I am a consciousness and everyone else is also consciousness, then I am looking at it from the perspective of Divya Chakshush, from a divine perspective. So that is what is the divine perspective here. Aneka Adbhuta Darshanam, Aneka Divya Abharanam. So that wonderful jewels that is divine. Divya Aneka Udyata Ayudham. So basically all the different types of weapons that he has in that universal form. Then Divya Malyam Bharadhara. So the wonderful malas, the garlands that the Lord is wearing. Divya Gandhanu Lepanam. The wonderful divine fragrances that are coming. Sarvashcharya Mayam Devam. That is a very beautiful verse actually. The line Sarvashcharya Mayam Devam. This Deva, this Lord is Sarva Ashcharya Mayam. That means, Ashcharya means wonder, wonderful. So this form of the Lord is totally wonderful. Sarvashcharya Mayam Devam. And then Anantam Vishwato Mukham. Anantam means that which has no end. And Vishwato Mukham means all pervading. The Lord is pervading everywhere. And that is Andantarastham Paramanu Chayantarastham. It is mentioned in Brahma Samhita that the Lord is in the Brahmanda, the whole universe, and He is also there in every nucleus of each and every atom. So in that way, He is all pervading. So there is a way to understand this. Then we look at the verse 12. Divi Surya Sahasra Sahasrasya
Divi Surya Sahasrasya
Bhaved Yugapad Uthita
Bhaved Yugapad Uthita
Yadi Bhasa Sadrishi Sasya
Yadi Bhasadrishi
Sasya Bhasas Tasya Mahatmanaha.
Dasastasya Mahatmanaha.
So what about Divi?
Divi
In the sky.
in the sky.
Surya
Surya
of suns.
of suns.
Sahasrasya
Sahasrasya
of many thousands.
of many thousands.
Bhave
Bhave
there were
Deva
Yugapat
Yugapat
simultaneously.
simultaneously.
Uthita
Uttita
present.
Yadi
If
Bha
light. Sadrishi
like that
Sa
that
Syat might be. Bhasa effulgence. Tasya of him.
Mahatmanaha.
The great Lord.
The great Lord.
Translation: If hundreds of thousands
if hundreds of thousands
of suns
of suns
were to rise
were to rise
at once
into
into the sky,
the sky,
their radiance
Their radiance
might resemble
might resemble
the effulgence
the effulgence
of the Supreme
of
Person
the Supreme
of the Supreme
Person
Person
in that universal form.
in
their
the
universal
universal form.
Okay, so again, this is a description, it is a metaphor, it is a simile. So, hundreds and thousands, it cannot be imagined, right? So, actually, that universal form is really bright and really wonderful. And see, in the end, what happens is Arjuna keeps on describing each and every element of the universal form. And then in the end, he says that I am totally overwhelmed by this. Please show your original Krishna form, kind of thing. So it's all interesting, the desire of a devotee. So Arjuna has a desire to see the universal form. Krishna shows that form, then Arjuna becomes bewildered. Oh my goodness, this is too much to see. Please come back to your original form. So it is that position, like just imagine hundreds of thousands of sun. It's just unimaginable, right? Even one sun, if it is very bright, and we are so far from that sun, it causes so much trouble. So if you look at it from hundreds and thousands of suns, the brightness of that, so it is just a kind of metaphor that Sanjaya uses here to describe that opulence of the Lord, and whatever he's seeing about the wonderful malas and gandha and all the different aspects, vatra, nayanam, so it's wonderful, so that's what he's describing here. And then verse 13. Tatraikastham jagatkritsnam
Tatraikastham
Jagatkritsnam
pravibhaktam anekadha
Pravibhaktam Anekadha
apashyat deva devasya
Apashyat Deva Devasya
sharire pandavastada.
Sharire Pandavastada
So the word tatra,
Tatra
there, ekastham,
Ekastam
in one place,
in one place
jagat, the universe,
the universe
kritsnam,
Krishnam
complete, pravibhaktam,
Pravibhaktam
divided,
divided
anekadha,
Anekadha
into many,
into many
apashyat,
Apashyat
could see,
could see
deva devasya,
Deva Devasya
of the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
of the Supreme Personality of Godhead
sharire,
Sharire
in the universal form,
in the universal form
pandava,
Pandava
Arjuna,
Arjuna
tata,
Tada
at that time.
at that time.
So Translation. At that time,
Arjuna
could see
could see
in the universal form
in the universal form
of the Lord
of the Lord,
the unlimited expansions
the
unlimited expansions
of the universe
of the universe
situated
situated
in one place,
in one place,
although divided into
divided into
many thousands.
many
many
thousands.
thousands.
Okay, so Tatrekastham Jagat Kritsnam. Tatra. Srila Prabhupada mentions the word Tatra is very significant. It indicates that both Arjuna and Krishna were sitting on the chariot when Arjuna saw the universal form. Right? So this is what we were trying to understand. Huh? To imagine that situation where, Krishna and Arjuna are in the middle of that battlefield between the two armies, and then, at that place, the Lord is showing the universal form. And it's so in that universal form, the whole universe is seen at once at that particular form. It's unimaginable. And so when we see that universal form depicted in pictures, actually it shows all the incarnations of the Lord as well. And all the Shiva, Devi, Ganesha, Hanuman, everyone. The whole, sometimes that is depicted, when we see it pictured in the form of picture, that is what is seen. So that means it is all encompassing. There is nothing that is not seen in the universal form. It is just, in that sense, it is totally unimaginable. But here there are some examples given, in terms of trying to help us understand what that universal form is. So those three verses that we discussed, starting from the 11, 12, right? 10, 11, and then the 12, where hundreds of thousands of sun, the effulgence, and then this particular verse, 13, Tatrekastam, Pravibhaktam Anekadha. Vibhakti means separated. Anekadha means lots and lots. Apashyat Deva Devasya. Apashyat means Arjuna saw, Pandavas tada. Deva Devasya. That is an important word there. So, the Lord of all the demigods, and that is what is Deva Devasya means. Sharire Pandavas tada. So basically, what is happening there is, Krishna is just showing his universal form. So Krishna is not present there. It was Krishna before, but when Arjuna requests Krishna to show the universal form, Krishna becomes a universal form. So that means, what does it mean? Very clearly it means that everything is coming from the Lord. Everything is existing within the Lord, and in that sense, nothing is separate from the Lord. And so that is a really wonderful realization that we can have. That even though, we might be in different circumstances in life. For example, someone might be born in a family which is not dharmic family, for example, someone who are doing adharma. But that doesn't disqualify that person from remembering Krishna. This is the wonderful nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why it is called Ahaituki Apratihata. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. The pure devotional service is Ahaituki. Ahaituki means it has no cost. Costless. So what does costless mean? It means that I love Krishna because I want to love Krishna. There is no reason. That is what is the emotion of the Vrajvasis. The people in Vrindavan, they do not see, they are not interested whether Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead or not. They don't have any interest in that. For example, Krishna does those wonderful leelas. Like he's killed Putana. Putana was huge, and he has taken the live hair of her breast, and she's lying down, and the small baby is there. If someone was in an Aishwarya Bhava means someone thinks that the Lord is a supreme person, they will consider, supreme person, let me offer my respectful obeisance, let me always pray. No. Yashoda will take Krishna and she'll start crying, oh, are you okay? Has something happened to you? Let me take care of you. They are under the influence of the Yogamaya potency of Krishna. So that is, the Yogamaya means what happens is they forget that Krishna is a supreme person. Mahamaya is also making people forget Krishna is a supreme person, but it's in a conditioned way. What does conditioned way mean? It means that I am thinking that I am this body and I am attached to this body. Because of that, I don't have any interest in Krishna, and I don't really. I'm interested. If I don't have interest in Krishna, how will I know that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead? It is not possible at all. First of all, you have to know the person. Then you will know what kind of person he is. But if you have no interest to know the person, how will you know what kind of person he is? It's a very simple thing. So when I am in the Mahamaya, Mahamaya is that potency. This is what is called. Krishna says, Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Krishna actually says that. This Maya, this Durga Devi is, Krishna says, she is my Durga Devi. She is my Maya. And she is Devi. Krishna says she is divine. So the Durga Devi is my Durga Devi and she is divine. And she is Duratyaya. Dura Atyaya. Dura means very difficult to overcome. And one of the meanings of Durga Devi, Durg means castle. In Hindi also, we say Durg for a castle. So this material world is compared like a castle, and the Devi who is in charge of this material world is Durga Devi. And she has a service to Krishna. The service is Prakshepatmika Shakti and Avarnatmika Shakti. There are two kinds of potencies. Avarnatmika Shakti means covering potency. So someone who wants to be attached to sense gratification in this body, they will always be covered by this potency of Durga Devi. And unfortunately, they will never have this interest to engage in discussing Bhagavad-Gita. There is Avarnatmika Shakti and then there is Prakshepatmika Shakti as well. So someone who understood that there is this covering and starts coming out of this covering, but does not have enough intensity of attachment for Krishna, Durga Devi will keep testing them. How much intensity do you have for Krishna? How much intensity? If you don't have that much intensity, you keep coming down. Again, you have to try. So slowly, but then Krishna in the next line, Mameva ye prapadyante. So Krishna says, in the next line, Krishna says that someone who surrenders unto me, Mayam etam tarantite. I help that person to cross over this seemingly insurmountable power of Durga Devi. Because why? Because Durga Devi is, Krishna says, my Durga Devi, my divine Durga Devi. He says that. So it's really wonderful. So when we can surrender directly to Durga Devi as well, because there is that wonderful relationship between Krishna and Durga Devi. But the important thing here is to understand the divinity. That at the end of the day, we are all divine. Everyone is divine in that sense. Even someone who is unfortunately doing sinful activities, they are also divine. The only thing is, their realization of divinity is quite far at the moment. And someone who is more pious, their realization of their divinity is a little bit more, higher divinity. That's the difference between a sinful person and a pious person. It's all external as well, it's not internal, because internally we are eternal part and parcels of Krishna. So in that sense, the respect has to be given to each and every living entity in this whole universe as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. Of course, basing on what their external body is, we have to behave with them in the same way. But internally we know for sure that everyone is eternal part and parcel of Krishna and everything is Krishna's energy. So this is what we can take from these verses. So thank you very much for listening. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments or questions we can discuss?
So Sanjay explained this form to Dhritarashtra as well.
Yes, yeah.
But even then Dhritarashtra was like, I don't know who Krishna is, because at
Yeah.
the end of Mahabharata Yuddha also, he was very arrogant and
Yes.
very much,
Yes. That's the unfortunate situation of someone who is in a conditioned state of existence, that they will be given lots and lots of opportunities, direct and indirect, to engage in Krishna Katha, to realize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but unfortunately they will not get it. So it's kind of an unfortunate situation, but at the end of the day, it is all dependent on the person themselves, That cannot be changed. So, like for example, Dhritarashtra, as a person, he was totally attached to Duryodhana. And that attachment was stronger than everything else. So because of that, so that was the Avarnatmika Shakti, what we are calling the covering potency of the Durga Devi, that was his Avarnatmika. His attachment to Duryodhana was extremely strong, because of which he was not able to perceive anything else. Even Krishna's position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he could not perceive that. We see actually this in this directly as well, in this one, when Krishna goes as a peace messenger to Duryodhana. He says, give 5 villages to Pandavas, and Duryodhana says, I won't give a tip of needle of a land to the Pandavas. His arrogance. And then he actually tries to capture Krishna. This should never be done, because if someone is coming as a Shanti Dut, as a peace messenger, you actually respect that person.
Yes.
Even if they are coming from your enemy, you respect that person because he's coming as a peace messenger. But Duryodhana and his people were trying to capture Krishna, and Krishna again showed the universal form, a little bit of his universal form at the time, but still, Duryodhana never recognized it, right? So it's kind of interesting when they go to Krishna for getting the battlefield. It's an interesting story. I think we have discussed this before. What happens is Duryodhana comes first and he sits on the head of Krishna. Arjuna comes after Duryodhana and he sits near the feet of Krishna. Again, the attitude, right? So the humility of Arjuna, he's sitting at the feet of Krishna. So when Krishna is waking up, he sees Arjuna first, and then he says, I see you first, so you ask me what you want first. But then Duryodhana says, no, I came first, so you should give me first. Then Krishna says, okay, what do you want? Do you want me without any arms, or do you want my Narayani Sena? And then Duryodhana, interestingly, we know, because he doesn't understand Krishna's greatness. So he says that what could unarmed Krishna do? How can an unarmed Krishna help me? So I will go for a better option, his Narayani Sena, his wonderful Sena. So basically, he chooses the option of Krishna's Sena instead of Krishna himself. So indirectly, Arjuna gets what he wants, even though all these things happen in between. So this is the kind of nature. So see, at the end of the day, it depends on the person themselves. It is that cannot be changed. Like Krishna does not forcefully change the nature of another person. Then it is force. It is not love. That's the difference. Like people generally say this. If Lord controls everything, then why doesn't He make everything wonderful and blissful and everything? But actually, everything is wonderful and blissful. This is like a dream. This whole material existence, it is actually like a dream. It is the reality is that we are never born and we will never die. That is the actual reality. But and that way, everyone is in a blissful state of existence, because that's the actual existence. But people don't realize that. Then when I immediately think about this body, then I get miserable because this body will go through lots of diseases. This body will get old. This body will die. So I'm miserable. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi. That is a. But it's really interesting. It's all costless mercy of the Lord that we have some interest in these discussions. Otherwise, it's not. It's not easy to get interest in these topics, because the material world is so strong. The matter is so strong. What do we see? Like when I get up in the morning, what do I see? Everything is matter, right? Where do I see spirit? I never see spirit. But actually, everything is based on spirit. Nothing exists without spirit, really. So that's why it is very strong. The material energy is very strong. But that's why Krishna says, Mameva ye prapadyante. If someone surrenders onto me, then because Krishna says, Maya, this is my Maya, he is able to help us cross over this Maya. This. And Maya, interestingly, has got a very nice meaning in Sanskrit. Ma means not, and Ya means this. So not this, that's what Maya means. So what does it mean, not this? Like I'm seeing all these things here, but this is, in a way, it is superficial, It is, why it is superficial? Because it's constantly changing. It's not, see, the na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata. Krishna says, that which never changes is reality. That which changes is not actual reality. It is a perceived reality. So that's why the Maya word itself has got an interesting meaning in that sense. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, but Sanjay also saw the universal.
Sanjaya saw, because Sanjaya had the devotion for Krishna. In the end, actually,
Okay.
in the end, Sanjaya says a very wonderful thing. He says, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. He says, where there is Krishna who is the master of all yogis. So Sanjaya has got a devotion for Krishna, and therefore he is able to see the universal form of Krishna. And he is able to appreciate that universal form.
Today everything universal form.
No, I thought he was having the vision to see everything that is happening over there. But I thought that he was, because that universal form was only shown to Arjuna, right?
Yeah, but Sanjaya also saw it.
Okay.
Because he had been given a divine vision, and he is also a devotee of Krishna.
Okay.
Those are the two conditions. You could have divine vision, but if you are not a devotee, you will not be able to see. Being a devotee is extremely important there. Then one sees Krishna everywhere. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mahi pashyati. Krishna says, when one is a devotee of Krishna, they see Krishna everywhere. Because they know that everything is coming from Krishna. So nothing is separate from Krishna in that sense. So, but then, unfortunately, Dhritarashtra was not in that, in the devotional attitude. He was not. So he could not see that. Even though, Sanjaya was describing it very vividly, but he will not see it from the perspective of a devotee. He will see it from the perspective of a person who is against my son. And I hate this person. That's his perspective, right? Because he's attached to his son. And this person is against my son, and this person does not like my son. That's his perspective. But he's not looking at the unfortunate thing that Duryodhana has been doing. Again, because it's called, one of the things that Prabhupada mentions in earlier purports is that Dhritarashtra was physically blind, unfortunately, but unfortunately he was also blind from the perspective of understanding the reality, in that sense that he should have tried to control Duryodhana, in some way, because it was his son, to say that don't do these things and all, but he was so much attached to Duryodhana that he was always allowing Duryodhana to do whatever he wanted to do because of his attachment. It's kind of unfortunate that way. Okay, thank you very much. So now we'll sing the Narasimha Pranam Mantra. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Hito Narsimho Parato Narsimho. Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimho. Hare Narsimho Hridaye Narsimho. Narasimha Madin Sharanam Tapade. Avakara Samaravare Natham Adbhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu तनु वृंद केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
तव कर कमल वरेणका अद्भुत शृंगा ललिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि
जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि जय नरहरि
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद
हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरम हरि बोल नित्य गौरम हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशचारिणे सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु कृष्णे मतिरस्तु हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण
थैंक यू